had gathered on a sandbar in the river when a small child entered the water and began to struggle to swim. 2 adult members of the group quickly entered the river in an attempt to rescue the child. One of the individuals, a brother of the second, successfully pulled the child from the water. Tragically, the second man was swept away by the strong river current during the rescue attempt. He has been identified as 31-year-old Thaddeus Smiley, who was last seen wearing blue shorts. Search and rescue efforts began immediately. As of this release, more than 100 first responders and volunteers are involved in the search operations. Resources deployed include 6 boats, 5 sonar-equipped teams, 3 area drones, and a specialized dive team. Right now, we estimate at the location where the victim went into the water that the current is moving at about 6 miles per hour, creating challenging and dangerous search conditions. The search remains active and ongoing, and we will provide further updates as they become available. Our hearts and our prayers certainly go out to Mr. Smiley and his family and his friends. And I just want to also take this opportunity to kind of speak about water safety. So we know this time of year, families, particularly children, are involved in a lot of different water activities. And so we want to make sure we take this opportunity to encourage parents, if they have not already considered, to start making some decisions about swimming lessons. This is important, but then also appropriate swimming gear. So making sure you have life-saving vests and equipment around should something like this occur. And then we also want to speak to the dangers involving with the Wolf River. There is a lot of debris that flows in the Wolf River. And even the most experienced swimmers can find themselves in trouble when you enter the Wolf River. There are certain portions of the Wolf River where the current's not as high, but then the section that we're on, as you heard me articulate earlier, is moving at about 6 miles per hour. So that's even dangerous for our responders who are out on the water right now trying to find our victim. And so again, we want parents to take this opportunity to really have these serious conversations and make these very critical decisions about swim lessons, water safety, and the right or the appropriate equipment when you're going to be out on the water. But then also making sure that conversations are happening right now about the dangers of the Wolf River. You know, this is not the first time that we've had to rescue someone from the Wolf River. And in fact, I think this is probably something that we do annually. Multiple times a year, people enter the Wolf River and they find themselves in trouble. And so, once again, we are still classifying this as a search operation. Again, more than 100 volunteers and first responders have been dedicated out here for the past 4 hours searching for Thaddeus Smiley. And so for anyone who may be around any overpasses that where the Wolf River travels under, if you see someone who is on the banks and they are in need of help, please call 911 so we can investigate whether or not this is the individual person that we're looking for, and we can hopefully service that individual. And I'll take a few questions.
You know, there was that kind of viral trend I remember last summer, the secret beach. People were really coming and partying and swimming alongside the banks. Is that kind of what was going on here?
Yes, it was. And so I would imagine earlier this afternoon, it appeared to be the perfect day until it wasn't. And so this is not uncommon for families, friends, hang out on these sandbars, but it's very dangerous. One thing about the Wolf River, it is complete with sand and mud. So oftentimes when there are times when people enter the river and, you know, just a little bit of weight on this, on the bottom of the river can create suction that can pull someone down or hold them down. So in this case, Mr. Smiley stands about 6 feet tall, 280 pounds. So obviously that can be, you know, very dangerous when you're in a suction type of situation.
How long can we expect operations to go on this evening, and if they'll be picked up in the morning?
Well, so we leave that up to our dive teams and our experts that unfortunately do this quite often. And so as long as they can safely search, you know, right now the sun is up and I think we probably have another 2 hours, maybe 3 hours of sunlight available to us. And so as long as our first responders can safely search the river, they'll continue to do so. And if we reach a point where we feel as if it's unsafe for them to continue, then we'll be back out here again tomorrow, continuing our efforts.
How long of a stretch of the river are you looking for?
So We believe that he could be close to the area in which he went in, but we've been covering a little more than a mile or so. Earlier today, we went as far as Jackson Avenue, searching the Wolf River. We've been hovering our efforts about a mile around where he went in. And so right now, again, we're going to kind of probably stay within that mile radius because we believe he could be somewhere in that area.
Was this where he went in?
Not far from where we are.
How is the child at this time? What condition are they in right now?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, a 10-year-old would be frightened if they found themselves struggling to get out of water or get out of a dangerous situation. So the child, from a medical standpoint, is doing well, but then from a mental standpoint, the child will still be, as you can imagine, in some type of anguish.
And was this the older brother that saved him, or who actually saved him in the family, per se?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure the age difference between the two brothers, but I do know that our brothers are within a year or so, maybe even days or so from age. I think they're both around 31 maybe.
What's Thaddeus Smiley's relation to the kid?
I'm not sure about that.
But all family, though, from this 11 people.
From what we understand, these 11, this group of 11 is a mixture between family and friends. All right? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Deputy. Thank you.
Is that for real?